So as you see here, last month I did about $105,000 in total sales. What's up, everyone? Today we're going to be going over how you can scale your Shopify store to over $100,000 per month. Last month I did my first six-figure month. It was a huge milestone for me, and I wanted to cover 3 tips that you absolutely need to master to scale a store to 6 figures per month. So in the book Outliers, the author Malcolm Gladwell says it takes roughly 10,000 hours of practice to achieve mastery in a specific field. There's 3 things you need to master in the field of e-commerce. It's absolutely these 3 specific things: audience, branding, and market positioning. Obviously, there's a lot of honorable mentions. I named a few at the bottom: customer service, fulfillment, content. Those are all very important, but the level of importance that these 3 things that I listed out up top have are by far the most important. Without these 3 specific things mastered, you will not be able to scale a store. You probably won't even be able to create a profitable brand. So definitely work on mastering these 3 things. And also, quick note, I'm trying to provide very valuable information completely free to you guys. Unlike the majority of other YouTubers and gurus covering these same type of topics, I'm actually making money 100% from my brand. I'm not trying to sell a course. Down the road, I will have a course, but I want to prove myself through this free value that I'm giving. So if this is something that you're interested in, consider subscribing, hitting that notification bell, and smashing the like button. It definitely helps on my channel, and it's greatly appreciated. So let's go ahead and jump in to these 3 specific topics. First up, we have audience. The main thing about audience that I want you to consider when thinking about it is who has a problem. That should basically sum up an audience. You find a group of people that have a specific problem. Down here in the bullet points, I have a few key points that you really need to also focus on. First of all, get rid of the traditional thinking of you need to find a winning product to sell first. Everyone that I talk to, not everyone, but the majority of people that I talk to, they say something like, oh yeah, I just need to figure out what to sell. I can't find a winning product. And guys, you forget about the winning product. That comes automatically down the road. The product to sell will present itself. Don't go looking for a product to sell. I repeat, do not look for a specific product to sell to start. Focus your entire effort on finding an audience that has a problem. Off the top of my head, let me think. Okay, so dog owners, for example. I don't know, when you're walking your dog and they poop on the sidewalk. Like, you're tired of carrying a plastic bag. I don't know. Like, just think of things off the top of your head. Think of people that have a specific problem. This could even be yourself. Can look at your daily life and consider what problems or frustrations do you run into on a daily basis. And there's hundreds, if not millions, of other people with that same exact problem. That is what I consider an audience. So figure out an audience. Find an audience that has a very specific problem. Then once you have that audience, go ahead and see if there's any products and companies out there that already provide a solution to that problem. You don't want to go, your goal here is not to reinvent the wheel. Like a lot of people think, oh, I should invent something. Oh, I need to find the product first. You don't need to do that. I'm telling you, I promise you, that is not what you need to do. You need to find the audience, find an existing product and company that already provides a working solution, a verified solution, something that their customers really like. And the 4th step, and the biggest key, once you've done the first 3 things, is just do it better. Figure out a way to improve upon what that company and that product does for that specific audience, and you will sell A ton. I promise you, if you can do that, if you can do it better than what's being done already out there, you're going to kill it. So change your thinking, change your life. I love that motto. It's kind of you change your thinking to what the majority of the population does. You want to become in the mind of a producer, not a consumer. And in terms of changing your thinking in the audience, find the audience that has a problem. That's all you need to do. Change your thinking, change your life. Let's go ahead and move forward. So branding. This is topic number 2. Branding is, aside from finding the audience, branding's the second most important aspect in my opinion. So once you have your audience, you need to build something that resonates within them, that makes them relate, makes them feel something when they come to your store and your brand. A lot of e-commerce isn't necessarily the product. It's important to have a good product, but think about the last time you were really excited buying something. My favorite example is Apple. Apple is a superb example of amazing branding. Every time I've bought an iPhone, my Mac, the AirPods, even my mouse, there's just something about the experience of purchasing an Apple product. And that's an example of a brand. So you need to create a brand around your product that resonates with your audience. And what I like to do first is when I'm working on a new concept, a new brand, I find my audience, then I build the brand without a product. I won't even have a product at this point to sell. I just know that there's an audience with a problem, and as an entrepreneur, my goal is to fix that problem, to bring value to the consumer's life. So when I'm building a brand, I usually don't even have a product. But there's a few things that I go through every time I build a brand that I've found a lot of success with. The first is you need to put yourself in the consumer's shoes. If you're not doing this, your conversion rate is going to be next to nil. Like it's not going to be good if you even make sales. You need to go through your entire store, your content creation, and everything as you were the consumer. Picture yourself sitting there and really think about, does this make me feel a specific way that would influence me to buy something from this brand? And if it doesn't, keep working on your brand until it does, because that is by far the most important part. I did $105,000 in sales this past month with a 5.5% conversion rate. That's very rare. Not to like toot my own horn, but if you log on to my admin dashboard, Shopify even gives me specific statistics about people, my competitors essentially in the same industry that I'm in, and they average a 2.2% conversion rate. I'm over 3% higher because I put myself in the consumer's shoes. I spent just as much time on the branding than anything else. And I truly think branding is, look at the look at the companies that you see here in this little image in the bottom left. And branding's important. So there's a reason these companies spend millions of dollars on it. Next, you want to research colors and emotions. Colors, in terms of a brand, make people feel something. Red could be fierce or angry. Blue could be relaxing or secure. Green could be like influential. Yellow could be happy. Black could be dark or sleek or upscale luxury. So there's colors and emotions play a huge part when it comes to branding that you really, really, truly want to focus on. So research colors and emotions. You don't have to spend a ton of time on this, but think about your audience and think about what your product does for them and try to relate specific colors to that. Pick out 3 colors and use those as your main brand. So like I'll pick one out for my headings, my titles, and my body text. And then I can use those same colors in my logo, but I keep it consistent throughout the store. This is going to provide almost a blanket of security when customers are shopping, because people subconsciously realize how much effort has went into this brand, and it does play a big part in their decision to purchase from you or not. Get inspired. So for me, a lot of this is just getting out and just taking in what's around me. Everyone can get inspired in different ways, But like, for example, I just went to LA essentially for this reason. There's a ton of art in LA, a ton of just different ways of life in LA. And for me, it's all about taking this in and and trying to put those emotions that I felt into my brand. So I think getting inspired definitely plays a big part in your success. And I highly recommend, you do what inspires you, do something that makes you happy, and try to figure out what about it made you feel that way and put it into your brand. Feedback. So before I release a brand, I get feedback, but what I don't do is I don't take my brand and I don't hand it to someone and say, hey, give me feedback. That's not what you want to do, because that puts in the mind of whoever's reviewing it that they have to find out things that are wrong with it and just kind of nitty gritty. But that's not how the consumer looks at your brand. What you want to do is get feedback by saying, hey, check this out. Don't even tell them that it's necessarily your brand at the start, but hey, check this out. And just see what they think. Ask questions, not kind of nonchalant questions like, mention something like, oh, I like this, and see how it resonates with the person that's reviewing it. And you can kind of see how potential customers are also going to view your website. Big aspect is feedback. And then after they've reviewed it, you can mention like, yeah, this is mine or whatnot. And do this with someone trusted. Obviously, you don't want to go up to strangers and ask for feedback and whatnot. I don't know. Maybe you do. Content creation. A big thing that's overlooked with a lot of stores out there, and I don't really see anyone teaching this, is content creation. When you're building a brand, a few years ago, you used to just be able to plug a product and people would buy from you. But nowadays, everything's a lot more transparent in terms of the ability that the internet's created for consumers. And brands you kind of have to be see-through. So what I like to do is I provide value to my potential customers before they buy from me. So I do this through a few different things. I do this through blog posts, video creation, and email creation. So I hire blog writers, and I either make the content for videos myself or write the emails up. But usually I hire blog writers to do like tips. So if I was doing that dog walking thing, I might do an article on 3 best tips for walking your dog when it's raining. I don't know. Just, you get the points though. Bring value to your potential buyers. It'll build trust. They'll realize that you're here to bring value to their life. They'll be much more likely to purchase. And it gives your brand quite a bit of like an appearance of knowledge, just because you're giving value. You know what you're talking about clearly through your blog posts. So content creation is also big. If you do all of that, your brand's going to kill it. So I highly recommend following this, really mastering it. Don't put out something that you're not 120% behind in terms of the brand, because if you're not 120% behind it, you're going to have trouble finding people that are 50% behind it in terms of customers. So put the time and effort into the brand. Like, it's huge. So branding. Finally, we have market positioning, and this is specifically more of the Facebook ads portion. Market positioning is how you can take your product and present it to the audience that you've narrowed it down to in the first section of these tips. How can you present it to them in a way that they need it and they realize immediately how it's going to bring value to their life? So you could just go out on the street, hold up a sign, and try to get sales that way. But most likely, 99.9% of the people that walk by aren't going to be your potential audience. So that's why I kind of recommend, obviously, Facebook ads here. It's very powerful. So let's jump into this. So this is kind of my strategy behind my market positioning. So week 1, I do an engagement post. So I'm not focusing on sales in the first week. What I'm trying to focus on is I have an idea of an audience that has a problem, but how am I going to find these specific consumers on Facebook or on the internet? So what I like to do is I run a wide, very broad PPE campaign on Facebook ads for 1 week. I spend $500 to $1,000 on it. And what I do is I have so much data at that point. I can see who's engaging with it and who's really interested in the product. And that's really going to be the start of the data of the audience that we narrowed it down to in this first part. So week 2, I kill the PPE campaign. I have some good data from that. But then what I do is, based off the PPE campaign, I can kind of get an idea of who my customer might be. So I do a website conversion campaign with interest targeting. So with interest targeting, that's how you narrow it down by, you could put an interest such as dogs or Jimmy Kimmel and whatnot. And Facebook will find people that are related to those interests. I spend my weekly budget, so another $500 to $1,000 on testing interests that fit your audience. So if I'm doing a dog product, obviously I do dog owners. Maybe I do like furry friends or some type of Facebook page that's related to dogs. I'd create probably 10 to 20 different ad sets with those interests. Spend my weekly budget on it, and if something's like really not performing well at all, it's going past my cost per purchase that I'm looking for, I'll kill it. But I just keep kind of branching off, and I spend $500 to $1,000 on interest targeting for week 2. At this point, I'm probably still not profitable. My goal here isn't to be profitable. Remember, we're in this for the long haul. So we're trying to find that audience that needs our product, that we can bring value to, and that is gonna make us profitable. So by this point, you've spent a lot of money on the PPE campaign, the interest targeting, spent about $2,000, maybe $3,000, and you have an insane amount of data now. So this is where you can really utilize Facebook's tools and lean on them to do the hard work. So you create lookalike audiences based on who's engaging with your ads, your Instagram pages, your Facebook pages. You can use lookalikes to create 10 different ad sets, and I launched those. I kill all the interest targeting unless there was some that were profitable, which is kind of rare. I might have 2 to 3 that are profitable. I leave those running until they're no longer profitable, because why not? It's making money. But other than that, the lookalike audiences, the LLAs, you use the data that you've collected to let Facebook do the work. And if you guys aren't too sure, if you're watching this, you're not sure on how to do Facebook ad campaigns, let me know in the comments right now. Just type like Facebook ads or something, so I can get an idea if I should do some videos, some in-depth videos, some really knowledgeable videos on creating Facebook campaigns and whatnot. So week 3, I run the lookalike audiences. And honestly, the lookalike audiences for me are what kill it, what do great, bring a great return on ad spend. So week 4, it's mainly scaling. I scale the winners, I group winners, I do CBOs, I do a huge variety of scaling. So week 4, and scaling will last from week 4 on, so week 5 plus and whatnot. So you scale. I'm gonna have more videos on scaling just because it's such a depth or deep topic, a lot of information to cover in scaling. So to generally sum it up though, scaling is from week 4 on, and that's just adding a budget to campaigns that are good. Week 5 plus, you repeat this. Campaigns will fatigue eventually. I talked about ad fatigue in my last video, my LA video, and campaigns are gonna fatigue. If you have an audience of 700,000 people or 2 million people, once you scale to a certain point, you're gonna hit. You will have hit everybody in that ad, in that campaign ad set. So you're gonna continually need to find new market positioning. What I mean by that is you need to find a way to position your product at a different angle. So let's say we're talking about a product for basketball players. Maybe I have a product that is something for sleeping for your back. Maybe all the hard work on the basketball court, you're getting some type of back pain. I could advertise that specific back pain solution to basketball players one week, but then I can find a new audience. So I have a back pain product or something that solves back pain. Who else? Maybe people that work at an office job. So then I can retarget my market position and start finding an audience within office jobs. Bus drivers, really anybody that has back pain. You can look at and find different audiences that have that same problem and continually find new ways to position yourself within that market. So that's what I do week 5 on, as I'm simultaneously scaling my ad sets. So the thing about this entire business model and what a lot of these gurus on YouTube talk about is how it's passive income, how it's easy. You get the winning product and you're going to make a killing and then you can go travel the world. Guys, it's not like that, because that might be the case for a few weeks, but it's going to die. And what is your plan once that happens? Do you have a backup plan? If your ads were to stop working tomorrow morning, how are you going to make money? So you need to continually be finding new market positioning for your product and your brand. And that is the biggest aspect once you've gotten past the point of making your brand profitable. So I have some homework for you all to check out. The biggest problem that I often hear is I just need to figure out what to sell. And people get stuck on this. They think they found something, but then they're like, no. Or they try it for a day and they're like, no, this isn't going to work. Here's the solution. It takes 10 minutes to do, and I still do this very frequently. So I built out this little exercise for you guys. So first, set a 5-minute timer on your phone. Hit start, and then once that timer begins, write down as many problems as you can think of. So anything that comes to mind, maybe ankle sprains or sleep apnea or anything, any bad hair, acne. Write down as many problems as you can think of in 5 minutes. Once that timer ends, reset the timer for 30 seconds. You now have 30 seconds to pick one of those problems. Pick one, circle it. You have 30 seconds, so don't think about it too much. Pick your favorite one in 30 seconds, circle it, and you're done. Once that ends, set another timer for 4 minutes. Within those 4 minutes, write down as many products that you already know of that solve that problem. So for sleep apnea, I don't know, you could think of like an eye mask, the sleeping thing. So that's what I mean. Think of products that you know exist, that you know work for that specific problem. When that timer ends and you have a list of all the products, another 30-second timer, select one product. When that timer's done, focus on selling that product. I'm telling you guys, the biggest problem people run into, and that I ran into when I was starting, is overthinking what I needed to sell. I'm telling you right now, every product has an audience that will buy it. It's important just to pick a product and pick something that solves a problem, and then that problem will have an audience that's related to it. So it's kind of like reverse engineering the whole process of e-commerce. So that is my exercise for you guys, and that sums up everything that we talked about today. I hope these 3 tips to help you grow your Shopify store to 100,000 plus a month are truly helpful. I'm trying to bring a lot of value here for completely free, and I think this is some good information. So I wish I knew this stuff when I started. Thank you guys for watching, and if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe. I'll be back. I do weekly videos. I try to release them Monday or Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time. New videos all the time, knowledge all the time, and I will see you guys later.